Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Civil Ka Adda. So in this video, I am going to explain about the design procedure of short column under compression with uniaxial bending. So before starting this video, I would like to request everyone to subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon to get the notification when I have uploaded the videos. So in this video, I am going to explain the design procedure of short column under compression with uniaxially bending. So we'll see what is meant by uniaxially loaded column first. So after that, we'll go into the design procedure. So uniaxially loaded column. So uniaxially loaded. So name itself is saying that uni means one. So it is. So when a column is subjected to either combined axial compression P, so axial compression P, and moment M, or only axial load P, or only axial load P applied at an eccentricity E is equals to M by P. So that the column is trying to bend about only one axis of the column cross section. That is known as the uniaxially loaded column. So when axial compression is acting along with the moment, or only axial load, and that is applied at a eccentricity E. So then which the column is tries to bend about only one axis, that might be X or Y. So this type of column is known as uniaxially loaded column. If you want detail about the axially loaded, uniaxially loaded and biaxially loaded differences, I am going to prepare one more video along about only this topic. So we'll see the design procedure. So how to calculate the uniaxially loaded column. So first step, step 1. So step 1, we need to check for slenderness ratio. So step 1 is check for slenderness ratio. Check for slenderness ratio. So slenderness ratio L is equals to what? L effective by least lateral dimension. So slenderness ratio is equals to L effective by least lateral dimension. So if it is less than 12, then it is known as the short column. If it is greater than that, it is known as the long column. So if you want in detail about that, you can see in IS 456 page 41. So regarding the compression members, IS 456 2000 page 41. So compression members. So you can say this also in this page 41. So after calculating the slenderness ratio, so we need to check the eccentricity. So step 2. step 2 is finding the eccentricity. So this eccentricity E should be greater than the minimum eccentricity provided, then we can move to the further. So we'll see that how the actual eccentricity is calculated. So actual eccentricity E equals to mu by pu. So just now we have seen here m by p, right? Eccentricity. So we need to find out the actual eccentricity, which is E is equals to mu by pu. So after that we need to calculate the minimum eccentricity. So we need to calculate the minimum eccentricity as per our codal provisions. So minimum eccentricity E minimum is equals to L by 500 plus D by 30. L by 500 plus D by 30. So which is greater than 20 mm. So this is also, if you want, this formula we have taken from IS 456 page 42. So clause 25.4 page number 42. So clause 25.4 page number 42. So there you can see all columns shall be designed for minimum eccentricity equal to unsupported length of column by 500 plus lateral dimensions by 30. So subjected to a minimum of 20 mm. So that is there in 25.4 clause IS 456 page 42. So next step 3. So step 3. So we need to calculate the non-dimensional parameters. So we need to calculate the non-dimensional parameters. So this non-dimensional parameters, so we need to calculate x-axis and y-axis, and then we need to take the value pu by FCK from the SP16 code. So actually the design of members subjected to combined axial load and uniaxial bending will involve a lengthy calculation. So that will involve a lengthy calculation by trial and error method. But in order to overcome these difficulties, the interaction diagrams may be used. So interaction diagrams may be used. So these have prepared and published by BIS in SP16. So SP16 codebook should be used to solve this. So non-dimensional parameters. So if we open the SP16, so from there only we are going to take the values by use from the charts. So x-axis. So if you open the SP16 codebook, in that you can see the charts. So from where we are going to take these all values. So there x-axis you can find the formula mu by FCK BD square, and y-axis pu by FCK BD. So y-axis pu by FCK BD. So the design charts are given in the form of interaction diameter, in which pu by FCK BD versus mu by FCK BD square. So as I have said, so the charts will be there in SP16. So x-axis mu by FCK BD square, and here y-axis it is pu by FCK BD. And this graphs curves, that is P by FCK. So So these diagrams you can see in SP16. So these charts you can see there. So x-axis this one, a y-axis this one. So the design charts are given in the form of interaction diameter. So in which Pu by FCK versus Mu by FCK BD square are plotted for different values of P by FCK. So where this P is the percentage reinforcement. So if you want, I can write that also. The design charts are given in the form of interaction diagrams in which P by FCK BD, Pu by FCK BD versus Mu by FCK BD square are plotted for different values of P by FCK. For different values of P by FCK. So where P is equals to percentage reinforcement. So this SP16 charts for designing rectangular sections having reinforcement on two-sided, so that you can find from the chart 27 to 28 for reinforcement on four sides, that is chart 39 to 50. So if you see the SP16 code book, you will be understanding it very well. So after this finding this, we need to find the longitudinal reinforcement, the next step. So step 4 is longitudinal reinforcement. So in this longitudinal reinforcement, you will be getting the P by FCK value, right? So this P by FCK value, so where P is equals to what? P is equals to percentage of reinforcement. So that we are going to calculate from this P by FCK. So you will be getting the value P by FCK, right? So from that we need to find P is equals to. So after getting the P value, you will be getting some XX value, right? Here also you will be getting some X value, right? So then we need to find out the area of steel. So area of steel is equals to this percentage. How much you are getting that percentage? So if you suppose if you are getting 3%, so 3 by 100 into Ag. So this is just I have written assumed value. Just I have written to understand. So ASC is equals to that percentage by 100 into Ag. So after getting the ASC, we have calculated how much reinforcement is required for that particular column. So now the step 5. So step 5 is after getting the main reinforcement, you need to calculate the lateral ties. Lateral ties. So tie diameter of lateral ties. So in previous video I have shown this already. So from where we have taken this, and from which page number of IS 456. So dia by 4. So that dia is equals to diameter of longitudinal reinforcement. And second is equals to 6 mm. So we need to take, if dia by 4 is equals to 7 mm, like that you can take 8 mm diameter bar. So if it is less than 6, you can take it as 6 mm diameter bar. So after calculating the diameter, what we need to calculate? How much distance, center to center distance we need to provide for this lateral tie. So pitch of the lateral tie. So diameter, and this is the pitch. So first condition is least lateral dimension. So how much you are getting based on the given size of the column. So least lateral dimensions you need to write. And second one is 16 diam. So diameter is the longitudinal bar diameter. And third one is 300 mm. So whichever is least. So least among these. So you need to take that value as the pitch of the lateral tie. So like this, we need to solve the problem of the uniaxially loaded compression member. So thank you. Thank you for watching the video till the end. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel Civilka Adda.